to be an evangelistic community. Our vision is to be a discipleship center. Our vision is to be an equipping network. Our vision is to be a worldwide witness of Yeshua the Messiah. This 5 core vision guides and directs our actions and programs at House of Israel Nigeria. We believe we have been called to catalyze a spiritual awakening in the nations. And through our teachings and programs and publications, we've been able to transform and shape the lives of countless around the world. We want you to continue to pray with us and partner with us in this vision of being a discipleship center of global awakening. We believe we've been called to establish a training facility where people all across Africa and the world can be deeply taught the word of Jehovah, taught his commandment, and taught his law, and by so doing, we experience transformation globally. This is our role and this is our job. We believe this to be a lifelong commitment, and we welcome you to be a part with us and to get involved with House of Israel Nigeria in making this a reality. To learn more about us, quickly go on our website www.hoinigeria.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Shalom.
Jesus' name. Amen. Lord, thank you for this wonderful moment which we have gathered to hear your word. Thank you for the servants about to use to teach us your word. In liberty we have come to receive and to hear, to learn from you. That may you bless our hearts and make our hearts open to receive your word and honor your word in trust in. May you also enlighten us and make us to know that the word we're going to receive is truly from you and not just from the next servant to use. May you pour your spirit upon him, pour your life into him and his words. His words be that which you orchestrated him to speak into our lives in Yeshua's name. Thank you, Father, for hearing your answer. In Yeshua's mighty name.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
We're all welcome to our leadership podcast. And from any part of the world you're watching from, we welcome you to House of Israel. But I'm so assured that the Ruach would use these conversations we'll be having today to bless and transform our lives. And I'm trusting the Father that he will meet us all at the point of his expectation for our lives through these conversations. And for our online viewers, those who have questions and contributions should please endeavor to please type in their questions on either our Facebook or YouTube platform. Whatever platform you're watching from, just make sure you use the chat section to send forth your questions, contributions, and even prayer requests and testimonies. We'd love to hear your contribution towards the conversations we'll be having in today's discussion. Praise Jehovah. And the vision of House of Israel, we have a 5 unique vision. Our vision is to be a worshiping people, to be an evangelistic community, to be a discipleship center, to be an equipping network, and to be a worldwide witness for Yeshua the Messiah. And this 5 core vision instructs everything we do at House of Israel, Port Harcourt. Let's take time to make the declaration for your vast blessings. I declare this is my season for peace, power, promises, and prosperity. I declare the peace of Jehovah in my life and in my body. I declare the power of Jehovah to manifest fully in my life. I declare the promises of Jehovah fulfilled in my life. I declare the prosperity of Jehovah to permeate every area of my life. And I declare I will walk in obedience to Jehovah. Amen. Now I encourage our online community and those who are here to endeavor to have our Bibles with us, and also to endeavor to have your writing materials, and the things we're sharing are pertinent to life, our life's journey, and our ministry. So I want to encourage us to take notes as we go into the conversation. Make sure you take notes, and also make sure you prepare your offering. And part of our commitment to Jehovah should be we are preparing our offerings and our tithes to give to Jehovah at the end of the discussion, where we give back to Jehovah the blessings he has given back to us. And this should also be a platform where we can support the works of Jehovah at House of Israel, Port Harcourt. So for our online viewers, I'm going to encourage us to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook and other social media networks, and please like and share. Please like and share our videos. Praise Jehovah. Like and share our videos. A lot of time I have to really look at my heart to check what the Ruach is saying as relating to the conversation, what to discuss about. And something comes through, the discussion could come through day-to-day life experiences, or it could be inspired through the Holy Ruach or through a Bible passage. And so this particular subject on being offended ties around the wisdom series. The things we've been discussing about wisdom has been, wisdom is our whole embodiment. It's not, when you know with wisdom and where we are going, my expectation is for many people who are desiring wisdom to see this avenue and this time, to see the whole facet of wisdom. So there are preachers who just talk on wisdom superficially. Wisdom is a right application of knowledge, and that's all. And they fail to bring into wisdom as a fear of God. And because you can't deal with wisdom, and you don't bring wisdom under the fear of God. And you can't deal with the fear of God and you don't bring in brokenness, surrendering, humility, and honor. Because when it comes to this honor itself falls within the space of wisdom in the fear of Jehovah. And so primarily, this honor is the safety place where wisdom brings us. There are two places wisdom brings you to safety. Number one is humility. Because it is wisdom to know that Jehovah will exalt the humble. And so whenever we're walking pridefully, arrogantly, we already know that we are heading towards failure. Because wisdom tells you that he gives grace to the humble, he resists the proud. So it is wisdom to know the power of humility. Then it's also wisdom to know the power of honor. It is wisdom, and that's where many of us fail, because why? The wisdom revelation to honor is not taught about. And because people don't know about wisdom and honor, they live in offense. Many people today are living offended lives. They are very offended. And when you meet offended people, you meet people who are living in self-destruction, limitation, smallness, and failure. Because what this does to you, when you're a person who is offended, you become a person who is limited. And that's one thing about honor. Honor protects us from offense. Honor protects us from shame. Honor protects us from disgrace. And so in looking at the subject of honor, as we've been looking at during our Shabbat conversations and messages, I felt that we should look at an aspect of offense, an area of offense that cripples people's effectiveness in life. Many people's effectiveness have been crippled in life because of this subject called offense. They are offended. And for many people, the offense in their heart came through entitlement. But the key factor is that even when we speak of entitlement, there's a root of entitlement that we often don't talk about. We talk about entitlement, but don't discuss the root of entitlement. And that's why this conversation will deal with the root of entitlement, which is dependent. So this conversation is centered on three aspects: dependent, entitled, and offense. Or dependent, entitled, and offended. The dependent, entitled, and offended. Before you can get into the place of offended place, there has to first be entitlement. Before there's offended, before you're offended, you are first entitled. Before you are entitled, you are first dependent. Before you are entitled, you are first dependent. Before you are offended, you are first entitled. You first develop the dependent mindset, which now makes you entitled when that dependent mindset is not met. Whenever our dependent mindset or our expectations as people who are dependent is not met, we become entitled. And whenever there's an entitlement, there's now an offense. So you will always be offended when your entitlement is not met. That's what happens to you. You get offended because you're entitled. You get offended because you are what? You're entitled. So the root of entitlement is what we'll be looking on in the conversation. The root of entitlement, which is dependent, and that's where we're going in this conversation. So I pray that it will. And for us who are here, also, let me just share this with you. And we know we have a larger audience. We have an online audience, and we have a offline audience. Those of you who are here, who I believe that. That's why I was telling Brother Bless. I want these chairs reduced. I appreciate people filling this chair and no blue chair. I want to speak to more fewer audience and see that those I'm speaking to are going to go with us. I don't want to do a large audience and they're a long run. No, we do large audience and there's no spiritual growth. I've been doing this thing for the past over 2 decades. I was going through my phones. I have a lot of videos of ministry videos of what we began to do, even as a youth ministry. Most of the guys we ministered to when we were growing up in ministry, many of them you can't even tell where they are anymore. But I think ministry has to be gauged like Yeshua did 12 people. He could gauge the process of their growth, who they are, so I could know who you are. And I don't want the aspect of people coming here these Thursdays. I don't see them next Thursdays. You not show up next Thursday. I don't see you next Thursday. I can't gauge your growth. Or Shabbat only. So I can't gauge. So a person can say, okay, I want to just worship you on the Shabbat. I have no issue with that. So I only come for Shabbat. So we are now submitted to a dependent. A dependent. Somebody is my dependent. Children look up to and they lose their potential. So why they are why they are depending on us, they must know that they are only dependent. Stay with me based on how long it takes your potential to be developed. Are you hearing me? Yes. Grown up with these spirits. Praise Jehovah. If it's not Jehovah, because Jehovah's dependency will enrich my potential. But man potential is developed. If I depend on man, my potential is eroded. This is why the devil's trick is to trap your human spirit, while your potential, your greatness is in your human spirit. It's inside. There's something inside you, that inside man, not this one out. There's the inside person. That inside person is where God has hidden your greatness, your potential. But that human spirit and the potential is limited when we develop a dependent spirit. Have we heard the word Independence Day celebration? That there were nations, dependent nations. That it was some nations were dependent on other nations for decades. They depended on Great Britain. That even nations could be dependent on other nations. And so the Independence Day celebration was a is captivity. If it's a white man, if it's your uncle, if it's your auntie, if it's a system, you are a slave. Every mixed race dependent on other nations. They were not colonized. They were not colonized. They were not colonized. They've not broken free. Yes, like Nigeria, Liberia, some big African countries. Why there are nations who want to build upon their us to live dependent ministries from one who we're sharing this evening. Your potential will be trapped in receiving. There's joy in giving. So this says, blessed it says it's Acts 25. It says is operating from a place of independence. The receiver is from a place of dependence. So the one who can now give as a You're not, that happiness is a collect, and you're satisfied by what they gave you. You're a slave. When you're a receiver, you're a slave. When you're a giver, you are free. Giving you to empower, but they give you to empower your potential, you rise. Every giving you need now should not be a giving of dependency. Say, many of us go to people, we have a need, but we go with a dependency mindset. 2K, give me 2K, give me 5K, give me. We keep asking for things. For things don't know of a potential. Many of us don't even know of a potential. We're like Esau. There's a potential of the birthright, potential of the Esau was dependent. His spirit was trapped in a dependency mindset. And that's a very dangerous place to be. Ago, the platform for multi-billionaires was in an app, but they thought the potential was always there. Whoever, if you're just smoking weed, who build apps now and sell for $1 billion, I mean $1 million. It is intangible. Cryptocurrency was, the potential was always there, but it's intangible. Real wealth is intangible. It is school system. Now you came with is it NY what? AYFS. These are all potential, these are all intangible thoughts somebody puts together, but they're not touchable. But they are driving forces. Paper, you are living a dependent life. Limited when we develop spirits. It's a very dangerous place to be. You develop it. You prostitutes. She can't even manage wealth. She can't even position wealth to the next level. She can't do anything with her life because why she lives to become orphan when we train people to be dependent on systems, on us. Praise your God. Hallelujah. A dependency or dependent spirits, or to be dependent, is a spirit is doing on the outside. When a person is dependent, he sees waiting for a better economy. It's now, for example, my wife was showing me yesterday the new fuel price. One is it now? Is it 1.2, 1.6, 1.3? From December 1, the new passport, national passport. December 1st, they're increasing passport, national passport. So think from the outside. If you are looking from the outside to thrive, this is not sharing this key factor to us. Is if you don't get this hostile times, we are dealing with times when what's happening right now? All the banks right now are in the market selling shares. Bank has to look. Bank is looking for money right now. Many banks are going down.
Because the reason why I say fact, sometimes you try to on this, on your own needs, you combine because at least if you are more than this will help me with this, help me with that. So, for me, I will ask. So, what I'm asking now, for me, I will ask if you have to borrow. Oh, but not to borrow. I don't have. So I cannot.
Why don't you have? Why don't you have?
I have. I have
You see
tried.
what we have tried on is
I told my seed. Map that I'm a demand. So let's just sit down.
And that's what I'm saying. The reason why we don't have is what this issue is about. We don't have because our lives are not built around our potential. Our lives, let me confirm sound, please. Leave that thing of confirm sound now. Do we have sound? Check on me, please. We're sorry for the connection. We have a bad connection today. That's an old response. Let me confirm now if we have sound. Do we have sound? Online viewers, please type I have sound if you can hear us.
yes.
Yeah, we have sound now. Okay, now see the issue here. See the issue here. Don't forget what I said. I said when you were born, you relied on your mother's breast milk to stay alive. Then you enter cereals or some is pap. You live from that means. Then I said also your parents will bathe you, dress you, and then prepare you for school. But we're all born dependent. That's what I said. We are all born dependent. And the dependency was not because you lack the potential to do those things. Those things are things you would do for yourself with time. But that time you were born, the potential was there, but the maturity was not there. So the the help you were receiving from your parent was not the absence of potential, it was the absence of the maturity. Are you hearing me? As you grew, your parents began to remove certain dependency gifts they give you. They're not asking you go and fix it. You go and fix that. Because why? They believe with your age now comes with the potential to carry that chair by yourself, or to fix the bed by yourself, or to fix your mattress, or to wash your teeth by yourself. So they begin to remove dependence and allow you exercise your potential, which is within the growth process. As you're growing, the potential is coming out. And I said there are people who, despite the growth, the potential is not utilized because they are still dependent on their parents for everything. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
So that dependency has now grown with them. That even in life, they live a life of dependence, either on government, either on the job, either on people, either on uncle, either on auntie. So they live a life of dependence. And that's one of the roots of poverty. Poverty is rooted in our dependence on systems, not in nurturing of our potential. That God Elohim has placed potential in everybody, that if our lives are built around our potential, we will thrive. And I said the dependent spirit makes you look outside for your thriving. Meaning, if the economy is not prospering, progressing, you are impacted by what is happening outside. So the dependent spirit is a root of poverty. So instead of us challenging this dependent spirit that is in us, we get offended or entitled. Now, for example, I know I have an uncle who had the same dependent spirit. If he goes home at the age of 50 or 50 something, and his grandmother has not prepared food, he will start shouting. If he's entitled, he's not causing the woman. There are children who, once they become dependent and they are stuck with dependence, and they now go back to places where they expect the food to come from, and it's not there, they become angry at the person. They feel you have to, Mama, don't know I'll become by 5. They came with nothing in their hand, but they're expecting the mother, the uncle, to give them. So rather than overcome dependent spirit, the enemy makes you entitled to that source. So the day is source, from today, we are no longer giving you. You become angry. You take offense when dependence is removed, not knowing that God removes dependence to liberate you. The issue is that once we remove dependence from people who have not developed their potential, they will become a crisis. Confusion now comes in. Because they feel, where do I go now? You ask, where do I go now? Where do I go now? Do I live on the bridge? Where do I go now? Do I become a robber? There are people right now who are 40, 50 years old, who, if you remove the dependencies from them now, you'll be surprised they don't know where to go. In Lagos, there are girls, when we're in Lagos, who wake up 8 a.m., take their bag, roam about, and come back home. Men the same way. They don't know how to fix their life. They don't know how to put their life together. The best place they can just go hide is on the beach. They can't live. They can't function. They can't do anything. They don't even know what to do with their life. They don't even know. The same thing goes with our graduates. There are people who are sent, and the reason why you were sent to school, that's why they gave you education. For those of us who went to school, you were sent to school for the development of your potential, so you will not be dependent. Sadly, our graduates are not empowered in their potential. They are a slave to be dependent. So you see graduates who come back from 4 years of schooling, still asking their mother for money. Still dependent on parents who send them. 4 years schooling could not break them off this dependency. They still go back begging. This is an issue. Graduates, we have mothers. I know a woman then in Lagos, woman, not a graduate, never went to school. But that woman built house from selling plantain, roasted plantain. Some of these women you see, so wake up very early in the morning, bush market, early in the morning. They use it to raise 5 sons, 5 daughters, send them to school. Not education, but they knew how to be, they released their potential in a native form. Some were farmers, agriculture. Wake up very early, they were very versatile. Bole, plantain roasting, corn roasting. If you go out and you see them now, akara. Why most people who are dependent are in their houses right now, they are poor, broke, lazy. They can't go out. They only got to beg. They're online chatting and talking. They have nothing, but they say, I cannot sell akara. I can't sell bole. But their mothers sell the same thing to send them to school. Now they have gone to school. They are still entitled and dependent. They can't give back. The danger is that even most hardworking parents make their children dependent because they think, me, I've suffered, though, I don't want my children to suffer, so they will not suffer. So by not giving them the same call to potential, because why? When you want people to fulfill potential, you push them to the rock. There are times you'll feel frustrated. If you think love is, I'm suffering, so I don't want my children to suffer, you're going to raise dependent children. at the long run, you'll regret it. The fulfillment of living a life of fulfillment, when you can reason out, you can reason, you can position yourself, you can make profit out of problems, solutions out of situations. That mindset. Native guys, you're saying so well. Cosmos, these guys, I will hear this guy called Cosmos, Costa's president, pure native intelligence, pure native. This guy is just pure native knowledge. Dangote, the same thing. I've heard him speak. Dangote is not really that academically sound, just pure native knowledge. That knowing that these guys are not dependency based, they are potentially, they just, that's what our the Igbo system does when it does apprenticeship. When they send you to go learn mechanic or send you to go learn a trade or to go serve a master, you are serving for the emergence of your potential. That's what they sent you to learn a trade. So when those boys come out, or if you go to Onitsha, if you go, they can pick up from life. The ones who refused who hang on the streets and stealing and pickpocketing was the one who they gave the same opportunity to try, but he was not willing. But now he's a beggar, now he's a thief. The ones who stooped down and then learned the craft, got their hands dirty, wore the dirty uniform, or were moving on errand, they sent them errand, they came back home, they sent them here, they were exposing them to life. These ones now are the ones living life. They have families, they can feed their families, they can live their life. Now, the ones who are just going about dependent on somebody, hoping on going abroad. Well, I'm not going to work, I want to go abroad. I'll go, this is going to take of going abroad. If I go abroad, my life will, you are going to be a failure. Abroad does not empower potential. It empowers dependency. You think there are guys right now who are in Europe, genuine guys who are working in Europe and America. If you ask them to give you $1,000, they don't have it. They have credit card. They are on credit card debts right now. If you think abroad is money, if I enter America, I will pick dollars. I will start picking dollars everywhere. They pay us 1 hour per hour. They pay you per hour to depend on a system. A system dependence. You're paying for being a slave to a system. Are you hearing me, saints? So how we've been brought up has already impacted the release of our potential, the release of it has. We've been impacted to the point where we don't even know how to release our potential. We depend on the outside source for sustenance. For us, it is what others can give to us. And there are those who have taken this to the extreme. They call them beggars. They've taken it to the extreme that, to me, I'll just sit down on the road and ask for help. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. It means I have nothing to give. The worst place life can put you is the place where you're a beggar. The greatest defeat on earth is not that a man fell. The biggest defeat is that a man becomes a beggar. When he now says, I have nothing to offer, just give to me. That's where you are defeated in life, is to be a beggar. To be the one who takes and not give is the worst place a man can be. That's why even if you say you are struggling and you feel you want to go to your mom to ask, I'll teach you honor the Shabbat. You see that once you start operating under honor, you rather die hungry than go back. There are guys who will tell you, if I go back, I'd rather die than go back home. They have made a commitment, says, I will go out and make my potential great. If whatever brings me back, I would rather die and go back to beg. These are those who now fulfill their potential. As long as you feel you have somebody to fall back on, you will not be a success. As long as you think there's somebody to fall back on, you can never be a success. You can't. It becomes a stream to pull you back from the release of your potential. Praise your God. This thing can happen for children and parents, citizens and government, employer and employee, pastor and member. Children can become dependent on parents. Citizens can become dependent on government. Employer can become dependent. Employee can become dependent on employer. Members can become dependent on pastors. That's why I made mistakes myself. I still make those mistakes. When I preach, when I do a teaching talk on a Shabbat, I don't expect any member to genuinely walk up to me and tell me they have a financial problem as a pastor, because you're like, am I Dangote in the first place? Am I an engineer? When members have a mindset, okay, let's say you're a member who pay your tithes or give, you don't have a financial issue, you can say yes, you've been giving. So that's okay, let's reach out to offerings and empower this member. If the pastoral ministry is run by people's offering and tithes, they have the members now, they have the mindset of thinking they should go to the pastor for money. It wasn't so in the ages past. It is due to the corruption we see today that the pastoral ministry has now been perceived as a money-making place. And the worst things we can do, even as pastors, is to exalt charity above hard work. Because a pastor can become the man who creates a dependency mindset in members. The system. When we come in and no Bible, nobody come with their Bibles, and they expect pastor to read the Bible for them, and then we create a dependency members. It's best to reduce the number to those who are willing to unleash their potential than gather around people who just come dependent on your prayer. Pastor, pray for me. Pastor, no, I want that. I'm saying you can do that. You can run that kind of ministry where everybody depends on your prayer. Even for Shabbat meal, I look at it several times, Shabbat meal. If I do not think of Shabbat meal, nobody thinks about it. Dependency mindset. Nobody, not everyone say, not everyone say they don't have the money for it. They don't think about it. Just the issue of not just thinking about it is a problem. Or now thinking about it and feeling, I don't have it, though. He should have it. The mindset to think that I should have it, but you can't have it, is a self-worth that makes you a victim. If you ever think somebody should have it, but you don't have it, whatever mindset that makes you feel, he has it now. You believe he has it, but you don't believe he can have it. It's a victim mindset. If you can believe I can have it, then you should believe more you can have it. If you believe I can give it, then you believe you too can give it. Dependency. And sometimes we think it's love, because it happens for child and parents. Parents use this thing to destroy children's lives. They are depending on you, and their potential is eroding. They can do it. They let them do what they have the potential for. If you know they have the potential for it, but not the maturity, then you can compromise giving them the service. Right? You believe they have the potential, but not the maturity. But when you can sense the maturity, let them do it themselves. By trying, they enhance their potential to solve the problem. That's why when they now face even employment issue. There are times when you can be back those days when central bank did what we call recapitalization. All banks used to have how many millions? I think 20 million or so. 100 million. Central bank did what we call recapitalization. They raised the amount the bank should, CBN should hold on the bank to 15 billion or so. Many banks closed, many merged, many lost their jobs. Sometimes you can lose your job. Then you now start thinking, how do I begin afresh? Where do I go? Where do I start from? But once you've been trained to solve problems from growing up as a child, you will see that's another problem to solve. God enables us to start solving problems from home. So we'll go to the marketplace and we'll face problem. It will not be a different problem from what you've been solved at home. But once from home, you've been dependent. When you face life problem, you're like, hey, suicide, depression, confusion. That's what you enter into. Because why? This one looks new to you. Because you've not been trained in problem solving. We've been trained as children to depend on parents, citizens to depend on government. Now you see in Europe and America, Canada, and hey, if you go to Canada, you mentioned, go to Canada, for example. Canada, hey, government has packages. They have packages. We have what called packages. They have what called a brother who filed, he wrote for unemployment. He wrote, if I lose my job now or stop working, I can choose to stop working now and then apply for unemployment package. That's $5,000 is coming to me by being unemployed. If they struggle to give me, I'll do an appeal. There are systems that can help you that way. They make you dependent on government. Yes. Somebody has been robbed. Somebody must be robbed to get that across to you. It limits how far you can go. Bro Dan was telling me about Pennsylvania. It caused the immigration nation or immigration states. That's where all the Sudanese immigrants, those who apply for refugee, they go and dump them there. And in those areas, you are paid more for not working. There's money for those who are not employed. So if you choose to do nothing with your life, there's package to enable you to live that way. Happily ever after. It's a system that the government and citizen dependent. That's the same thing, parents and children. You are saying why does parents? That's the same thing, parents and children, government and citizen. Dependence. There's pastor and members. This one's even worse. Pastor and members. Pastor and members. You've not seen it. That will happen in charismatic this thing now, where they tell you you don't have to open a Bible. Don't come to church. The Bible, the priest, only the priest can open the Bible. So the Pope is empowered. So this system has to empower the Pope so highly that people will even worship the Pope. Why? The Catholic Church built a dependency on the church. You see, an Entitlement opened his mouth for Eucharist, Holy Communion. So people were deeply dependent on the Pope, on the priest. They didn't have their Bibles opened. That's why these guys now made up deception like purgatory Deception like saint worship, penance. We can even baptize your dead ones. That if you have a loved one who is dead and is in hellfire, you can come with money and give the priest. The priest cannot take the money and go to hell and take your brother from hell and put in heaven for you. That one was wealthy people were bringing money. When a priest say, you have a loved one, where is it? Is it in hell or hell? It's in hell. That one cost you $1,000. Bring it to the altar. So the priest will help you bring your brother from hell and send it to heaven. The pendant system, church. It's happening today in our church right now. Build dependence. Church, let me take contributions and questions before I go further.
Praise the Lord. Then I was waiting for I was to get to entitlement and offense, then I'll contribute. But on this dependency, and what really hits me the most is the development of potential. That's why I see the main challenge. Main challenge is many of us the system we have been built under do not support this development of potential, starting from the educational system. The educational system has a way of it's funny that we are in an AI generation now, and yet we're still using educational system that was built in 1975 or 19. That I'm talking about university standard even up to this day, and there is no upgrading in models, and that was these were systems that were built for particular situation in that time, which is not the same thing that we have in this day. So it's now like people go to school and come out. But when they come out, the system that the educational system they make in school do not help them build their potentials, plus falling back to the government, blaming the government, being dependent on the government. And this kind of thing that we're discussing here is not a thing that is being taught in schools. And many schools, even if you look at their curriculum, you still see them projecting this dependency. So I have a question which I would like to get clarification on this. With this current system now that we have, that doesn't help a person discover his or her potential and doesn't even develop it, how do a young person, really escape this and get to build their potential?
Well, thank you. Now there are a lot of people talking entrepreneur. If you go online on TV, there's this entrepreneur or even intrapreneur. They have entrepreneur and intrapreneur, and there are people advancing this. And there are people who are still thriving within this current system, and it's still those who thrive are still those few people who thrive as a result of this personal responsibility to be less dependent on the system. The Nigerian scenario is a very pathetic one. This is one nation where government has no peer support factor for the citizens, because the government itself is over-dependent on Europe and the West. If your government want to build a train, just train road, train track, you know where they go to for money? China, World Bank. We are not seeing government initiate programs that inspires that indigenous wealth creation. We see a leadership that is purely dependent on the West. With all the elites we have, all the big guys speaking big English, entrepreneur, this is a nation heavily in debt, heavily owing. Most of our projects are financed. The finance or almost of our projects in this nation is even for state. There are states who still go out to China for loans to build infrastructures. Are you hearing me? So the citizens will have to now see that pattern, and they themselves will pattern their lives that way. Only handful of few people who are rising up, and with even those few people, this same independent government is frustrating it with policies. I can't tell you how many businesses, entrepreneurs who have left Nigeria for Ghana, or many businesses, people are rising where even for CBN policies, CBN financial policies is stringent and frustrating that even young guys who are there, it's always people who look inward that win. And they're the ones this government will fight, even global government fight against people looking inwards. They keep tightening the policies, bottleneck, bureaucracies to force. But once you can look inward, see, sir, you're on your own. That's what it means. What this means globally is you are on your own. People who command that billion, like in Elon Musk and these billionaires and trillionaires, you see that they have a perspective superior to government. Even in the pharmaceutical industry, the billionaires and trillionaires have this mindset superior to government. The government is always after them to check them, to control them, but they're always ahead. They keep beating systems. They keep beating the systems the ordinary the person is subject to. They keep beating it. So you are not going to have to look to government anymore. And the same thing, you must first say, I'm not going to look to my parents anymore. If you say, I'm going to look to my parents anymore, to government, then you start thinking, what do I? It is when you now, by your personal decision, say, I'm not going to look up to this person anymore. That's when God can show you the way to go. That's what I said about my own story. My dad is a pensioner. They pay him every month. He write check for me. And I told him, I said, I don't want your check. Till date, I don't want your check anymore. I didn't have anything when I made a decision. No. I left home. Till date, I don't know how his check goes. I don't care about those things. Intentionally say, I don't want to be dependent on you. Then you start seeing the potential and how do I now navigate through? How do I now chart my course? But the more you put your mind on somebody, something, somewhere, the more your brain power is locked up to think of the way out. See, we have to take our minds off government, either local government, national government, or global government. You have to take your mind off that place and start thinking out of the box. Because even African government is overly dependent on the West. Down to vaccines, vaccines, treatment, Medicare, IT, everything, we're dependent. Food, we're dependent. And so it's even affecting us how we see food also. You know how much people make Coca-Cola makes. Somebody was saying something about Coke last. Coca-Cola makes so much money. Coca-Cola makes so much money. When they list the businesses that this year, the businesses that thrive, Coke was not included. Someone else said, how come they don't look into Coke? Because Coke seems to make more profits and they don't list them in the list of the companies that make so much money. Why? People are dependent on sugar. That's why this company will put things in their production, addictive, flavor. See, a lot of the things, these guys know the system. Somebody was with Dr. Phil. They said, he says their company pay one of the times you get things like University of Harvard did the research on this, and then they discovered that too much egg is bad. Universities can do research. It says companies go to pay researchers to tell them that their product is not harmful. So this company will put addictive into products, and this Harvard, this Cambridge research will come and they will say, yes, that product is good. They've paid them. It's when the cash stop flowing, you now say, we'll do another research have been done to tell you this product, chocolate, is harmful. Because why? They were not getting their payment. A lot of these products, they put addictive in them. They flavor it. Why are we eating this flavor? It is not natural. Because why? We are taking those things because why? They put addictive. We are not dependent on them. We don't even need them. We drink Coke when we don't need it. The things we eat are not things we need, because we've been built to depend on those things. Tobacco, for example, you see them say, Federal Ministry of Health says tobacco smokers are liable to die young. But how do you stop what people are built dependence on? All of these are issues. So it's when you start dealing with breaking dependence, that's when you can start unleashing potential. Key factor is to deal with breaking dependence. Now, let's deal with this aspect again. When we have a spirit, this dependent spirit, we see relationship as a means to take. Let's deal with social media. Social media, for example. With the advent of social media, the first chatting platform that existed was what we call Yahoo platform. When Yahoo came out as a mail exchange and a chat platform, messenger, instant messaging came, that Yahoo was the first instant, and MSN, Hotmail, and Yahoo were the forefront then. People were dependent, went in. Match.com, matchmaking.com, they went into those platforms and began to build relationships to take. That's why you now see Yahoo went from being an instant messaging platform to a 419 platform. Fraud. Because when you build a nation of dependent people, they become entitled somewhere for money. Start thinking, who has it for me to take? Who has it? I'm entitled. I'll go online. I'll fake my profile. I will fake my story. I'll write I'm an orphanage. I'll write that they are making up flat template to scam people. Also, why? Dependent people who do not mind their potential will find a negative way to stay alive. So once you are dependent, you are dangerous to yourself and society. Credit card fraud came up. Who take people's credit card number, somebody's card's number, and begin to use to purchase, to buy, to purchase, to buy somebody's own card. You now hack someone's own accounts, their hard-earned money. You now lie to them, take their digits, their information, and scam them. Somebody's working, you are eating while you build dependency. So for those who build that the potential, you become a threat to them. That's what it did. The issue of social media has affected relationships. And boys put it online. Girls say it. If you date a guy this morning, you meet a guy this morning, you bill him in the evening. I'm telling you something about this relationship issue, about this dependency. Ladies, a lady, I saw a post, she said, see, if he doesn't have a car, don't date him. It's not. If he doesn't have a car, so how much can a boyfriend give you? Says my own boyfriend gives me 5 million. If it's below 5 million, it's not a man. Girls are built dependency spirits, enter relationship, and they see it as a means to take. You are not married. Be careful. No girl wants you. Because why? These girls are not into love anymore. They are looking at who to build. Can you take care of me? Men are now the investment plan. They have investment plan. So the man who can make the investment plan is what they are after. So now it's even harder to find true love if God does not help you. So men are going through a whole lot of this thing where relationship is vice versa, not that, but I'm dealing with this specifically, that when it comes to this issue of relationship, even in love, marriage is about what you can give me. The person who's asking for more is bringing nothing to the table. There's a girl who was saying all of those things. Say, what do you have to bring to the table? She looked like a dummy. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I have beauty now. Hey, I have beauty. She has nothing to bring to the table but beauty. So as she feels that beauty is enough reason to be this lousy. When you have a dependency spirit, my brother, you don't have time for friendship. That time when you say true friends, a true friend who is not calling you for something. This day, somebody sent me hi. I know it's when you send me 3 hi, I know your spirit is the next is to beg. A guy wrote me, hi daddy. When I saw hi daddy, I knew where it was going. When I saw him some this to say, I know what you're asking for. He laughed about it. Hi daddy. Are you genuine? Hi daddy. You want to bill me now? You want to ask? So it's no more hi genuine, hi daddy. Hi love. Hi baby. And girls still say hi baby genuinely to the person they are dating. You are dating someone say hi baby. Is it still genuine? They don't stay say hi baby and it's genuinely seeking the guest genuinely asking you hi baby, or you say hi baby for the next thing to say I want the phone. There's no more genuine salutation anymore. There's an intention behind to take. Dependency makes us crooked. So even with us in this community we're talking about, if we don't build that, if we have dependency, we become corrupt. Because when you say, Pastor, how your night now? I don't know your mind. Are you asking me genuinely how your night? Or are you trying to say, Pastor, that thing I said yesterday? Pastor, can't you see my situation yet? Are you greeting sincerely? Or are you now so dependent that your relationship now is now based on parasitic desires? Any question before I go further? I want to throw the last bomb and I will raise you up. So what is the first key to wealth? How do we build wealth in this community? How do we build wealth? Now let's face the facts. How do we build? These are discussions we should be having here. How do we build wealth in this community? This our house of Israel is a community. How do we build wealth? These are the things we should be having a discussion. How do we build wealth? Let me add responses before I continue.
Okay, to me, to my own perspective, I think wealth creation has to start with, just like I said, being independent, that's self-awareness. It's an intentional act to It's an intentional act to pursue creation itself. So being independent and being self-aware first of all of your state and how to be independent to break free from system of harm or whatsoever, cultural, family and the rest of it all. That's where real solution starts from. Then from being independent, you can now start thinking of your potential in you, what your skill, what can you do, what can you offer. Then from there, using your potential, you can now start thinking of what can you create, creation itself. Creation starts with either you can choose to be a problem solver and looking at the needs of the community itself and what can your potential or your skill and how it can be used to solve that problem. So being a problem solver alone already a big edge to create wealth. Because in life, you can solve people's problem. I mean, that's the essence. You have a solution to this problem. You can create wealth around it in one way or the other. Be it by being skillful, be your mental state, which is maybe education or what you are just facing you.
the personal education of the individuals. That's where the issue of, like you mentioned, or she mentioned, there are people in our midst now who they do something, but they don't do it so well. Meaning, if I give you a job, that means we may have to even take products outside, seek services outside. Because why? If you give them the job because they are a member of the community, they will give you an average job, they'll give you an average service. That's where they will end with offense, because I'm going to deal with offense. Of time, I was thinking to me a short message because we've never even touched on entitlement and offense. When people become entitled, dependent, without excellence or competence, they start wanting you to patronize them, irrespective of their competence, and they become entitled. They think they're entitled to your patronage. Then, once you don't patronize them, they become offended. This is what kills this nation. That's killed many parastatal, many organizations in this nation, because service requirements should be based on the competence and the quality of delivery, not based on being a part of the community. Primarily, if we're dealing with commerce is not going to be truly based just by community connection. It has to be based on excellence and service-oriented quality service delivery. The worst people that will give you quality service delivery is people of God. As we speak now, people of God are the worst people that gives you quality service delivery. Because why? They've wrapped up their potential in this dependence on so many things. There's no possible excellence. It's basically in Jesus' name to go anoint you. You're anointing rubbish. You sew a cloth that has one leg up, one leg down, you anoint it. You put it, you now wait on one door, baby. Say, whoever pass here will buy it. How would they buy that rubbish you're selling? It's not, there's no excellent delivery. So God's people are not prepared for excellence. So they are just entitled and offended people going about praying to God and shouting, "Oh, God bless me, God bless me." There was a brother when we were building then who from Lagos. The guy was offended. I didn't know he was offended. He was not writing for so long. Then I wrote him for months. So, Apostle, you forgotten me, you're doing job, you didn't even give me anything to do. Meaning, I knew he was incompetent. I knew he was not competent. But it's assuming that you give them something to do because you're building. Or because it's your brother or your sister, irrespective of the competence. And once you don't call them in, they pick offense, call the entitled people. And there's a brother, I bought a phone from my wife, got a phone from my wife from he gave. I never even knew that Apple had Dubai Apple. They have Dubai Apple, they have UK Apple, they have American Apple. He just sent us Dubai Apple. That's when the Apple has Dubai brand. A phone that had problem. SIM card does not detect nothing. So the next production, will I send anybody there? It's not going to work. So you see, this is what you mentioned about skill is important, but people of God undermine skill. They undermine skill. They undermine competence. That's why so it's easier for them to throw dependency out there and depend on somebody to solve their problem rather than build that self-awareness. That's why GDP is a big problem in the world. So Nigeria can come on. There are times they came to declare that we've left recession. There are times we've got to report that Nigeria is not doing well economically, but when it comes to per capita, people are poor. So a country can pick up and be doing well, and yet the people are not doing well. This is what we have in many churches. When it comes to per capita, per head, people are doing well, nothing. People are not doing well. So how do we do well if there's no skill? Let me just run to conclusion now. Any questions? You guys have questions now. One last, have you been to the coffee farm? What have you planted in the coffee farm? Nothing. See what I'm talking about? It's not your fault too. It's not your fault. It's the same spirit of dependency, the same system. But you don't see a use for it. You don't even see you don't see a use for it. I don't even see what you can do with it. Because why? You've been built to be dependent on something other than that. So sometimes a pastor, you're like, how do I really help people? Do I give them a farmland? You give them, it doesn't work with it. Do I give them money? They don't work with it. Not, you're like, just leave them. Leave people with their faith. And sometimes that's what it becomes. And sometimes I just build myself and I'm checking I'm going to just leave people to their faith. People are what they choose to be. Sure, I spoke about the parable of the man who gave his son 10 talents, 5 talents, gave his son 1. The one went to heal his own, hide his soul, and did not do anything with it. He's been so dependent and doesn't even know what to do with what he's been given. Let me tell you something. 4 is now on 5. It's not easy for anybody. The whole banks are taking people's money now. They have hype shares. IPO are taking people's money. So if the banks don't have it, the government itself are asking money from China. China is asking, everybody is asking someone for money. If you don't develop your potential, you are going to be struggling with the little you have, and you maintain a circle of limitation. We're going to go through those circle of limitation. And the issue of GDP and NGNP will become an issue. It becomes a economic issue, but poor people will not be able to connect what is my reality as it relates to GDP and GNP. Are you hearing me? So it's time to think out of the box. You have to think out of the box. So a guy, Gossip Mill. The guy began Gossip Mill from 2016, before Linda Ikeji and this Naira something came early then. The guy was doing this blogging thing with a site. Then suddenly the guy took this Gossip Mill to the next level, and he was just bringing out news. This guy came out some weeks ago and showed himself as the owner of Gossip Mill. People say it cannot be. The guy is only 26 years old. Gossip Mill. See his house. The house he bought in an estate was worth about 900 million naira. Over 900 million naira. He drives later GNK 2024. Wealthy. All from the sense of blogging, content creation, giving something. People want news, updates. You know how much Linda Cage is worth now? Just from blogging, it's just talking and putting information out there. God's people are very relaxed in this dependence. This dependence on church, dependence on pastor, dependence on parents, dependence on government. This is a problem. We are too dependent. Just 26 years old. Wait, if you see how these guys are buying stuffs. He says it was swimming pool, he said the house, swimming pool, and everything. He mentioned the furniture. He said the furniture he has. There are only 3 people in Nigeria that have it. Say himself, Bonner Boy, and Vintage. 3 people have a 26 years old. Once you are just dependent on somebody, just relax it. Just dependent. Just be looking, waiting. You can't do anything with what you are giving. If that person does not give or help, is that how you stay? Is that how we stay? We must begin to ask ourselves questions. How do I break out? The first key to wealth is to free your spirit from a dependent spirit. The first key to wealth is to free yourself from a dependent spirit. The first key to wealth is to free yourself from a dependent spirit. That's what we see with Joseph and Potiphar. Joseph made sure whatever Potiphar had, no concern him. Didn't steal a kobo, a dime, a penny, or a dollar from Potiphar. He felt his potential was enough to nourish Potiphar's house. When we start stealing, we have said we lack potential. That somebody's own is what I need to be fulfilled. Stealing, that's one thing that stealing is one statement to God that you gave me no potential. That's why stealing is a crime. The reason why it's a crime, it's not just a civil crime. Stealing is a spiritual crime. It tells God that that person's own is what I need. You gave that person, you didn't give me, so I must take his own. The same with murder. Like murder, a lot of taking someone's life is as dangerous as stealing. Because in Proverbs, compare stealing and murder as the same thing. When you go out to take what does not belong to you as your own, you're a thief. So that sets up. That's why I'm always having a sense that I can have it. I have this mindset that even if I give up clothes, shoes, I can give up anything. I can give me this. I give out things because I just believe I will have it. It's a mindset. But when you now trap yourself in dependency, someone does not give me, I will not have it, you will not go far. So we must first build a spirit of wealth, which is first to break out of all dependency. The dependent spirit is one of the cause of poverty because it creates entitlement and offense over expectation. Let's see Proverbs 22:7. Help me with Proverbs 22, verse 7. Proverbs 22:7.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7 says, the rich rules over the poor. The borrower is slave to the lender.
It does not mind word here. It's not trying to sound nice here. It just tells you straight. See, the rich rule over the poor. And who is rich and who is poor? It's the same mindset, it's the state of mind. The rich is ruling over the poor because why? The state of mind. One has the mindset of dependence. One has a mindset of independence. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
The rich has an independent mindset. The poor has a dependent mindset. That's why now interchanges it and calls the same rich. The rich is now called a borrower. No, the poor is called a borrower, and then the rich is called a lender. So why is he rich and why is he poor? Look at the text. It says the rich rule over the poor. How? Because the rich is a lender, the poor is a borrower. So the factor behind who is rich and who is poor is commerce here. Who is lending and who is borrowing. And lending and borrowing is also mindset. The same way rich and poor is a mindset. So a poor person has a borrowing mind. And borrowing mind is born from where? Dependency mind. The rich person has a lending mind. So I will have it to lend. So when it comes, so it's like his posture to know somebody will want what I have. So he accumulates assets for somebody there who is not asset based. So there are people who have this asset mindset. Let me buy assets, knowing somebody will one day come to borrow. So when it comes to borrow from me, I will now tell him, if you're borrowing it, here's the interest rate. So he now says the poor person comes to borrow because why? It's not asset based mind. He's a borrower. He's dependent on me. So the rich capitalize on the borrowing mindset or the dependence mindset of people to get their wealth. The same way pharmaceutical business capitalize on people's sickness to get their wealth. The rich will capitalize on your dependence mindset to get wealth. Now, if you're here, think about it. There's so much in this community right now that if you start saying, if I can have this one, somebody will come borrow it. Let me show you how to be wealthy here now. We are in what you are doing and getting wealth. Find something you can lend. The borrower is slave to the lender.